بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Inshallah, we start a section on categories, maqulat, categories. According to the Farsi version, the original book, it is section 9, lesson 33. According to the English translation, is lesson 24. And it is about substance and accident, jawhar and arad. Okay? So today, inshallah, if we get tawfiq, we finish one lesson about substance and accident. Before we go into any classifications, we need to clarify one point. Philosophers say sometimes two things just are next to each other. They touch each other. Sometimes one dwells in the other. It's existing in the other, but not as a part being inside something else. It's a kind of infusion, in the sense that it can be found in every part of the other, and it has the impact that gives a quality to the other. If you want an example, maybe it makes it more clear. The author says, if you have for example, piece of metal, iron, for example, and you heat it, it becomes red. This redness is not touching the iron so that you can separate them. This redness is found in every piece of iron and gives a quality, a characteristic to iron. And this redness cannot also exist without iron. Okay? This type of relation, they call it hulul. Hulul. Halla yahillu, in this means to dwell. So something dwells in something. For example, like sometimes they use this term for human soul in body. Our soul dwells in our body, but not as part of our body. Like your kidney is inside your body, but is one part that you can separate it. But the soul is inside body, but not as a part. Assalamu alaikum. Every part of body, soul is there. Okay? And you cannot separate, say, this part of body is the soul, the rest is different. So, hulul is this type of relation that you have two things, two beings, one of them dwells in the other. It can be found everywhere in the other, cannot exist separately or independently, and has an impact. It gives a quality to the other. Like redness for piece of metal which has become very hot, it's heated. Another terminology that you have to learn before we go to definition of Jawhar and Araz, is mawdu', subject. What do philosophers mean by subject? I don't know if you have come across this definition, that for Jawhar and Araz, they say Jawhar is إذا وجد لا في موضوع. Araz إذا وجد في موضوع. We will explain later. So, what is موضوع? The author says, if the being in which something else dwells does not need that thing which dwells in it, it's called mawdu', subject. If this being in which the other thing dwells needs what dwells in it, it is called madde, opposite to surah. We have madde and surah. Inshallah, we will explain. We have 5 types of Jawhar. One is madde, one is surah, one is jas, one is nafs, one is aql. 5 types of Jawhar. Inshallah, we will talk about it. So, if that being in which something else dwells also needs that, it is madde, matter. If it doesn't need that, it is called mawdu', subject. Now, let's go to the discussion about Jawhar and Araz. What is Jawhar? What is Araz? Jawhar is a type of mahiyya that when exists, it does not exist in a subject. Mahiyyatun. So first please remember, it's mahiyya. We are talking about 2 types of mahiyya. Al-mahiyyatu imma jawharun aw arad. Okay? So if someone asks you, is wajibul wujud, is God jawhar or araz, what do you say? Pardon? You say wajibul wujud is not jawhar and it's not araz. Yes, sometimes people may extend the meaning of jawhar and say anything which is not araz is jawhar, sawa'un kana mumkinan or wajiban. That is a kind of extension in the meaning. Otherwise, jawhar and araz are 2 types of mahiyya, and wajibul wujud is neither jawhar nor araz. Okay? So, al-mahiyya is divided in 2 parts. Sometimes al-mahiyyatu idha wujidat fi mawdu'. Whenever it comes to existence, it exists in a subject. Like color. Color cannot exist on its own. Color of something. Yeah? Like red for metal, which is heated. White for paper, for plaster. Black for a piece of clothes, for example. Okay? You cannot have color separately. Sometimes people say, but I can go and buy one, bottle of, paint. But that is not really color. That is, again, a substance which has color. It's not purely color. Yeah? So if you paint something with this paint, you are adding a substance to another substance. Yeah? You're putting substance, not that you are just putting color. Do you understand? So, lawn, in Arabic say lawn, or in English color, is arad. Why? Because whenever it exists in a subject. إذا وجدت وجدت في موضوع. Always there must be something, and this is a quality for that. Or for example, quantity. Quantity, like you say, for example, 2, 3, 4. Can you have 2, 3, 4 without something to be 2 or 3 or 4? No. Like you can have 2 apples. You can have 2 pens. But 2 by itself cannot exist without something which has this accident. Okay? So araz is mahiyatun idha wujidat fi mawdu'. Opposite to this is mahiyatun idha wujidat la fi mawdu'. Some people make mistake. It's saying wujidat fi la mawzu'. Not fi la mawzu'. Wujidat la fi mawzu'. Okay? إذا وجدت لا في موضوع means it when it exists not in a subject. What does it mean? It means either it doesn't dwell in anything, or if it dwells in something that needs it. Because we said subject is something in which another thing dwells and doesn't need it. Is it clear? إذا وجدت, when it exists not in a subject. What does it mean? It means either has no subject at all, nothing else that dwells in, or if it has, it is something that also that needs this. For example, jism. Jism is 3-dimensional matter. This jism is one of the substances, and it can exist without dwelling in another thing. Or nafs, soul, again doesn't need something to dwell in. But we have also one type of substance which is madde, which is the potential part of things which have potentiality, and that has surah, form, and they exist together. These two types of johar, madde and surat, they need each other, and surah exist in madde, but madde also needs surah. So this is also johar, no problem. This doesn't contradict with what we said. إذا وجدت لا في موضوع, because madde is not موضوع for surah, or surah is not madde for موضوع for madde, because they need each other. What is araz is it needs a subject, and the subject doesn't need it. But if there is no other thing that this dwells in, or if it dwells in that also needs this, then this is johar. Okay? So, johar is something that has somehow independence, somehow, not 100%, but somehow independence, although it is created. But compared to other things which are created, it's something that can have some kind of independence. Not with respect to its cause, not with respect to God. Nothing has independence in that sense. But in the sense that it's not like color that has to exist something else. Do you understand? So, mahiyat are one of the two types. Either they are johar or arath. Okay? Johar إذا وجد لا في موضوع. عرض إذا وجد في موضوع. Okay. According to Aristotle and many Muslim philosophers also adopted this opinion, accepted it. Araz or accident comes in 9 types. It can be divided in 9 groups, 9 types. So we have 9 types of araz. And with Jawhar becomes 10. They say Maqulat Ashr, 10 categories. Because there is 1 Jawhar and 9 araz. They call it Maqulat Ashr. And the reason these are called Maqulat is the plural for Maqul. It's not Ma'qul, it's Maqul. Maqul means ma yuqal, what is said. It comes from qawl. It's different from Ma'qul. Ma'qul is from aql, means intelligible. Maqul means ma yuqal, what is said. These are ma yuqalu fi jawab ma hu. When you ask, what is this? The answer that you are given finally would reach one of these 10 things. Anyone that gives you an answer about any mahiyya, finally it reaches these 10 things. These 10 things are independent from each other. These are called Jinsul Ajnas. These are the most general things, and everything finally goes back. So if you want to make any definition, any had, you have jins and fast. Finally, they all go back to these 10. Al-Maqulat al-Ashr. The reason they are called Maqula is because they are said as a response to a question. What is this? Ma yuqal fi jawab ma hu. When they ask what is this, then the answer finally reaches this point. Okay? For example, you ask what is human being? They say haywan natiq. You say what is haywan? They say jism namiya hassasa mutaharrika bil irada. So you see, finally you reach jism. Then jism is something at the top. You cannot define jism any further. Okay? If someone says, what is red? You say, kayfun, mahsusun, mubsarun. So it's kayf. Finally it's kayf. Someone says, what is time? You say, kamun muttasilun ghayru qarrazat. So finally it says kam. So, kam, kayf, jawhar, mata, ayn, wad', jada, and yaf'al, and yanfa'il. These are 10 categories that are top categories for defining any mahiyya, any contingent beings.
What's jada?
I will explain all of them. So, the reason these are called maqulat, it's clear now, yeah? Because it's not in the book. You have to write it. So, these are called maqulat because each of them is the final answer for the question, what is this thing in its essence? Okay. So now let's go back to aras. According to Aristotle and many Muslim philosophers, we have 9 types of aras. Al-a'radu tis'a. Tis'a, 9. There are 9 aras. But some Muslim philosophers have questioned this. They said, we don't believe in these 9 things being ultimate categories. Some have denied some of them. Some have denied most of them. And they said they go back to other things. These are not really aras. According to the famous thing that you find in the books on mantiq and philosophy, they tried to keep it for the sake of teaching the same as conventionally has been said. 1 Johar, 9 aras. So now we want to explain these 9 one by one. The first that we explain, there is no order here, but we start with the first according to the book, is kam. Kam in Arabic is different from kam in Farsi. In Farsi, kam means little. Yeah, say a little, you know, kam. But in Arabic, kam means quantity.
How much?
Pardon?
How much of something?
No, it's not a question. That's kam is different. That's a question. For example, kam sa'ru hadha or kam sa'. This is kam with shadda, means kamiyya, means quantity. So the quantity of anything is considered as aras. And they, of course, divide quantity into 2 forms. Al-kammul muttasil wal-kammul munfasil. Connected and divided or disconnected. What is al-kammul muttasil? What is kammul munfasil? Al-kammul munfasil is adad, numbers.
Munfasil.
Yes. What is the first adad? The first number?
0.
0 no, is not number.
1.
Even 1 is not number, maybe.
2.
2. 2, 3. Okay? So, 2 and 3 and 4 are disconnected. Yeah? But when you have a line, this line is 5, for example, 10 inches. This line is connected. This 10-inch is not 10 separated, disconnected inches. It's one measure. Okay? It is called muttasil. It can be line. It can be a square. It can be 3-dimensional, like a ball, for example. It has 3 dimensions. But it is all muttasil. Okay? So you can say 1 inch. We can say 1 square inch. You can say 1 cubic inch. This is muttasil. And munfasil is what? Numbers. Again, muttasil is divided into 2 parts. It's not here in the book, but it comes later in the discussion about times, so I explain it now. Muttasil, if it is like line or square or cubic, all the parts exist at the same time. If you have 1 meter of something, all these parts exist together. But sometimes kam muttasil is in the way that one part comes after the previous part expires and the next part still has not come. Like time. Time, you say 1 hour, but 1 hour is different from 1 meter. 1 meter, all the parts are together. 1 hour is 1 unit, but this unit is in the way that one part must have gone and the next part has not yet come. ما فات مضى وما يأتيك فأين فاغتنم الفرصة بين العدمين. The past has gone, the future has not come, benefit from the moment. Okay? So, there is a difference between time and meter. Is it clear? So they say, al-kammu imma muttasilun wa imma munfasilun. Wal-muttasilu imma qarruzzat. Qarruzzat means its essence has a stability, like meter. Or ghayru qarruzzat, its essence is not remaining, like what? Like time. It's tadrijiyul wujud. It's gradual. Is it clear? You know, these concepts are very good to learn because it adds to your analytic power. Because when you know there are many different types of relations, different types of being, you know, then you will no longer be naive and simple-minded. Either you don't make any judgment, or if you make it after careful consideration. Those who are simple-minded, they think everything is the same. They see two things and they think they're the same. But after you study philosophy and usul, you see these two things are different from many aspects. Yeah? But for people who are not trained, intellectually they are not trained, they look the same for them. Okay. So, the first is kam. And kam is quantity, as we said. It can be muttasil, connected, or munfasil, disconnected. Disconnected is figures, digits, numbers. And connected can be gradual or not gradual. Qarruzat or ghayru qarruzat. Qarruzat, like khat and sat and hajm. Meter, a square meter, cubic meter, for example. And ghayru qarruzat, like time. Second, kayf, quality. Quality, again, has divisions. It's not here, but in other books you find. Sometimes kayf is mahsus, sometimes is nafsani. Sometimes kayf is mahsus. Mahsus means what? Something that you can perceive by your senses. Al-kayful mahsus means something that you can understand, perceive by your senses. For example, you can taste it. For example, if I ask you, what is sweetness? You say sweetness is a quality which can be sensed by taste. So, al-kayful mahsusul madhuq. Madhuq. Dhawq means taste. Yeah? So, all the tastes are kayf, but kayf and mahsus. Madhuq. Sometimes can be seen, watched, mubsar. Mubsar, like color. Color is kayf and mahsus, that you can watch it. Sometimes you can touch it, like softness. A flower is soft. Softness of flower is like sweetness of cake, in the sense that both of them are aras, and both of them are kayf, and both of them are mahsus. But one of them is understood by vision, the other one is understood by taste. Okay? So, quality can be mahsus, means something that you understand, you perceive by 5 senses, and depending on which sense, these are divided. And sometimes quality is nafsani. It's for soul. Like knowledge. According to some philosophers, knowledge is a quality for the soul. It's aras. Some people don't accept this, but some people say it's aras. Or for example, generosity. They say it's a quality for the soul. Fear, joy, these are qualities for the soul. And these qualities can be temporary or can be fixed. You remember in akhlaq when we were talking, we said malaka is al-kayfiyyatu nafsaniyatu rasikha tasduru anha al-af'al bis-suhula min ghayri rawiyya. Okay? A permanent quality of the soul that causes simplicity and easy occurrence of actions without being in need of thinking. If you are a generous person, you have the quality of generosity, you don't need to think too much. Those who don't have this quality, maybe to buy a coffee for you, they need to think few days. Shall I buy this coffee or not? It takes them few days or few hours. But someone who is generous doesn't need to think too much. Okay? Just sees the coffee shop and you might be tired, quickly offers. Yes.
How about pain? Is it nafsin?
Pain is also a quality, yeah. But it's not fixed, it's transient. It's not rasikha. Pain is normally, maybe in hell it's permanent, but in dunya pain comes and goes.
So it is nafsi, is it?
It's nafsi, yes. So kayf means a quality, and as I said, it has different types. It can be mahsus, it can be nafsani, and each of them are different. Ayn with hamza. We say ayna. Ayna means where. Yes. Ayna istaqarrat bika an-nawa. In dua we say ayna. But here it has become a noun. Say ayn. Ayn means the accident which relates to something which occupies a space. It has a makan, it has a space. So that is the condition that happens for something which has makan, which has a space.
So where is it? Where is its station?
So anything which occupies a space, okay, then there is a relation between that thing and its space. That is called ayn. So ayn is not the same as a space. It's the relation between something and its space. Inshallah, we have a discussion what is a space. There are two views. Plato and Aristotle have different views. And also Mullah Sadra and Ibn Sina, Avicenna also disagree. Mullah Sadra is with Plato, Avicenna is with Aristotle. We will talk about this. But right now, it's important to know that the ayn is the condition or the aras, the accident which happens for something based on the relation that it has with its space. Mata, which means when, but here it's used as noun. It means the condition or the relation which something has with its time.
Zaman.
Zaman. It's not zaman itself. It's not time. The relation that it has with its time. So being in this time gives you an accident. For example, today. You being today, like you being in this place, gives you accidents. One is ain, one is mata. Okay? Wada, situation. Wada is very similar to ain, but the difference is that in wada you consider the relation that something has in itself to different parts with outside. Are you familiar with the two types of motion? Sometimes something just moves from one place to another place. Sometimes something also turns around itself, like Earth. Earth has two types of motion. It evolves around itself, but also around sun. We call it harakat waz'i. Waz'i means situational. So, maybe you are in the same place, but sitting or standing, or maybe standing on your feet or standing on your head. It's the same place, but the relation of your parts with the place has changed. Do you understand? Or you are moving around yourself in the same place. So wada is similar to ain, but ain is the relation between something and the place, but was is the parts of something with each other and with the outside, something which is around, surrounding them, like sitting and standing. Fi'l, or sometimes they say an yaf'al, to act or action. What do you mean by act? Again, the condition, the situation that happens for something when it is in the process of doing something. When you are doing something in that gradual process, you have a condition. For example, when you are walking, when you are speaking, this is a kind of condition for you. An yanfa'il or infa'al is to receive, to be passive. In مقولة فعل or an yanfa'il, you are doing something. An yanfa'il, you are being affected by something. Okay? For example, someone is pressing your hand, pressurizing you. Or for example, there is heater and that is heating, you are being heated. Okay? So for the heater, it's an yaf'al. For you is an yanfa'il. Okay? So this is another one. Then jeda. Jeda, this is not jadda. This is jeda. Jeda comes from wajada yajidu. Wajada yajidu means to find something.
Discover.
To discover or to find something with some quality or to possess something. Okay? Wajid can mean possessor. Jada is the condition that happens for something when it is surrounded by something else. And the surrounding is in the way that when what is surrounded moves, what surrounds also moves. Imagine you have covered yourself with a dress. This dress has covered you. When you move, the dress also moves. You have a condition with this dress, which is called jada. Okay? So, something is surrounded by something else in the way that when what is surrounded moves, what surrounds also moves. Sometimes what surrounds doesn't move. This is not jada. That is temporary. Like, for example, you are here, there is a curtain, a piece of clothes on you, you move, it remains. This is not jada. And finally, idafa. Idafa means relation. This is the condition when something has a relation with another thing. For example, there are two brothers. Each of them is something, but there is something extra to each of them. And that is the relation of brotherhood. Which, for example, this person doesn't have this relation with someone else. It's extra. In addition to his person, there is something else, and that's a relation with his brother. Brotherhood, sisterhood, childhood. You are child of someone. Parenthood, someone is your father. This is a relation, and this relation causes a kind of araz, a kind of condition for you. So, kam, kayf, mata, ayn, wad', an yaf'al, an yanfa'il, jada, and idafa. These are 9 types of araz. Plus jawhar becomes 10. So there are 10 categories. Maqulatul ash. Now, we have to distinguish between araz in the sense that we said and analytic accident, analytic araz. Al-aradu tahlili. What we have said so far about araz or accident is khariji, is something external, something that exists in the external world. It's khariji in the sense of objective, external. Sometimes in our process of analyzing something, we distinguish between two things. And we say this has this araz, but in our mind. For example, everything is one. Philosophers say every being is one. Yeah? Al-wujudu yusabiqul shakhsiyya. Everything is one. Everything cannot be two. Everything is one. Oneness is something that in analysis you give to that thing. But it is not like color or heat or softness or number that in outside reality it belongs to it. It's just in our mind when we analyze. Otherwise, outside we have only that thing. Oneness or contingent, to be contingent, mumkin, or to be belfil, actual. These are concepts that belong to something, but only in mind we distinguish between this concept and what they belong to. This is called arad tahlili. Tahlili. Tahlil means analysis. Okay? So outside there is only one reality, not two. So, some philosophers who disagree with Aristotle and those who accepted his idea, they say we don't believe that all these 9 types of aras are khariji, are really objective and separate reality. They say we believe some of them are tahlili. Only in your mind you distinguish. For example, the relation that something has with its time, they say it's not really extra to that thing. It is your analysis. The relation that something has with its space or place, it's in your mind. So there are different views among philosophers about this, but this is beyond this book. So the author says we don't discuss it in this book. Just you have to learn these concepts, but whether we should accept these 9 and not more or less is inshallah for more advanced discussions on philosophy. Now we have discussion about makan, place or space, and zaman and an. I don't know, are you okay or you are tired? Maybe tired? Okay, we leave it for next week inshallah. But please do mubahisa and even pre-mutala'a, because if you don't understand and absorb, after a few weeks you forget.
As you covered the topic that you were just saying about already quite a bit of it.
Yes.
Space, time.
Yes. But what is time itself and what is a space, we didn't discuss. We talked about the relation between something and its time. Inshallah, we will have good discussion about time and space, but brief. Ayatollah Mutahari has a whole book on, these two. But here, just 2-3 pages. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Okay, questions?